Welcome back to episode 2 of Out of 100 Attraction Showdown. Each week we will feature an attraction from the Walt Disney World Resort and look at 5 specific categories, including the queue line, cast member costuming and demeanor, attraction animatronics and set pieces, overall experience, and must-do factor. Each attraction will be ranked out of a score of 100 points, 20 for every category, and tiered against each other in the coming weeks. Be sure to comment below with your ranking of each category of this week's featured attraction, as this video will be 100% opinionated. Let's kick things off with an attraction that was recently closed in Disney's Hollywood Studios, the Great Movie Ride. Just a side note for the Great Movie Ride, much like our last episode of Out of 100 Attraction Showdown, this attraction can totally depend on the stage crew cast member that you end up getting. Let's base the cast member section on the best cast member you have ever had on this ride. The queue line of the Great Movie Ride is notable for having a good amount of old Hollywood-style memorabilia and movie props. The fact that they try to replace some of the props with more generation-relevant props is stellar. It keeps the attention of every guest that walks through it. After coming in through the entrance of the Chinese theater and getting through the memorabilia, guests are then filtered into a maze in a theater. Though the Great Movie Ride has been updated in recent years to be home of Turner Classic Movies, or TCM, the beginning pre-show still makes the usual 20-minute wait time feel like a 5-minute wait time. The pre-show is definitely a perk to this queue. Guests get to stand in line and watch old trailers like Alien and Raiders of the Lost Ark. This queue line movement happens to be at the top of my list primarily because they have so many vehicles going, which causes the line to constantly move. Overall, I'd give the queue line for the Great Movie Ride a 16 out of 20. For cast member costuming and demeanor, this attraction, much like the Jungle Cruise, prides itself on its cast members. It all depends on the interactions between the cast members and the guests, as well as the synchronized notion with the animatronics. This is another attraction where you really have to sit and not only take in everything with your eyes, but also take everything in with your ears. The costuming for the cast members is replica to old Hollywood-style movie ushers, which again is very iconic for this attraction. I'll give it a 14 out of 20. The animatronics in this attraction really make you feel like you are part of the scenes that your vehicle is guided through. Most of them are extremely lifelike to their corresponding actors, while only a few are static, such as Footlight Parade. Some of my favorite animatronics in this park are in this ride, including John Wayne as Ethan Edwards, Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins, and Clint Eastwood as Man with No Name. The most realistic animatronics have to be the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wizard of Oz scene, and both aliens in the Alien scene. This ride has a very high rating for the attraction animatronics and set pieces with a 17 out of 20. For overall experience, now I know Disney needs sponsorship for its rides, but sometimes it gets ridiculous when you see Test Track presented by Chevy or the Great Movie Ride presented by TCM. A lot of Walt Disney World's attractions are being bought out and ran by separate companies, but I do understand they need a constant influx of money to keep the rides as they are. It really takes away from the experience during this ride, especially towards the end, the newer end, when Robert Osborne brings out the final movie montage. It's just a little reminder that you aren't really engrossed in the Disney magic in this one as much as some of the other attractions. Also, if you get put in the second car of your 2-car vehicle, you definitely miss out on a lot of the attraction as it's being presented to you. Your cast member sits in the front car giving movie insight and facts while going through the different scenes as they pass through them. There's a good 20 seconds between when the cast member gives their facts and when the back car passes through the corresponding scene. I might be picky, but it can be a real deal breaker for me if I ride in the second car on the Great Movie Ride. Overall experience rank, I'd give it a 12 out of 20. As for must-do factor, I would consider must-do factor a main ingredient in any Walt Disney World attraction. By this category, I'm expressing certain questions. Does this ride make you want to ride it over and over again? Is this a ride you absolutely have to do when on a Walt Disney World vacation? Depending on how good your ride-through was the first time you ride it on vacation, this ride does not need to be ridden more than twice, throughout your entire vacation, really. You get 2 options when riding this attraction. Either your cast member goes off during the gangster scene or the Wild West scene, but the most important thing to know here is that they all end the same way. I would not recommend waiting more than 20 minutes for this attraction. This ride is certainly a bad memory for young ones, especially when the aliens attack or the Wicked Witch of the West makes her grand entry. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a great ride to escape crowds and get into a building with air conditioning on those hot days, but this one is mainly for the movie buffs. Overall must-do factor rank, a 14 out of 20. That leaves us with an overall rating of 73 out of 100 for the Great Movie Ride. Be sure to comment below with your own overall ranking of each category for the Great Movie Ride, as well as a suggestion for next week's attraction on our next episode of Out of 100 Attraction Showdown. Taking a look back at last week's episode of Out of 100 Attraction Showdown, viewers gave the Jungle Cruise an average of 73 out of 100 overall. I will begin to feature the top 5 at the end of the episode, featuring my ranking and the viewers' ranking from the previous episode, so be sure to comment below with your overall ranking for this week's attraction. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe for great new content coming soon. Thanks.